You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. You're Locked On Phillies Postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. This particular episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use all lowercase for Locked On MLB. And for a first deposit match up to $100. And once again, thank you so much for making Locked On Sports your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and also on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network, your team every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Rough loss for the Phillies. Unfortunately, one inning came back to bite Aaron Nola and the rest of this Phillies ball club in the old behind to take the 5-3 loss to the Dodgers to open up this series out in Los Angeles. Phillies scored some runs early. Nola, unfortunately, couldn't keep the bats at bay there of the LA Dodgers. And then the Phils had some bad approaches to the plate in this game. Couldn't draw focus, especially in that ninth inning. We'll go through it all. And the Phillies also had a couple of bounces on their side in this game. So much so that I thought we were going to get a little bit more of the good juju, good mojo from Brandon Marsh's miraculous catch in center field against the Seattle Mariners yesterday. But unfortunately, it wore thin for this ballgame. Doesn't mean the Phillies can't get it right back on track. It's not about winning 10 games in a row. It's about, I don't know, winning 8 of their next 10, 7 of their next 10. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to keep the optimism going for this Phillies team officially turning around sooner rather than later. But this one was a bit of a rough one for the Phils. Let's break it down. First and foremost, let's get into 3 big things, as we always do. Number 1, Phillies were lucky. Phillies were very, very lucky to get a lot of the runs that they got in the early goings of this ballgame. There is no better example than Nick Castellanos, of all people, getting a 2-out triple in the second inning. Pages misread, misplayed, did just about everything wrong that he could have done in trying to track down a long fly ball to deep center field off the bat of Nick Castellanos. So Castellanos ends up getting a 2-out triple. All right. Did he put good wood on the baseball? He absolutely did. He's standing on third base. Think about this now. Bryson Stott's the next man up. He hits a chopper off the front of the plate, goes 20,000 feet in the air. Nick Castellanos, with 2 outs, freezes between third base and home. Freezes between third base and home. Glasnow, who fielded the baseball, I guess blacked out for a second, not realizing he could have just got Castellanos in a run. Now, easier play to make as opposed to trying to rush a throw to first base, and Stott's busting it down the line, ends up getting the infield single, ends up also getting the infield RBI single because Glasnow made a wrong play. Castellanos, after the Pages misplay in center field, standing on third base, he freezes, I guess forgot the outs. Glasnow doesn't see it, and he tries to make the out at first, doesn't get it. And then I guess Freddie Freeman doesn't understand what's going on here, and Nick Castellanos is able to score the first run of the ballgame. There was more in that inning. Hayes steps up there. He gets the single to left field. Stott, great hustle by him tonight, really throughout the entire ballgame. Instead of just advancing to second base, he hustles his butt off and gets to third. So now you got, and on the throw from Teoscar Hernandez in left field, he goes to left field. Hayes is, or excuse me, to third base, allowing Hayes to take second. So now you got second and third. Second and third with 2 outs. All of a sudden, a little 2-out lightning could be brewing here for the Phils. But unfortunately, the only other run they were able to get in that particular inning was on the wild pitch by Glasnow, and you had Stott being able to score on that play. So all of a sudden, that in that second inning, you're up 2-0, both runs being scored with 2 outs, both runs being scored, mostly courtesy of some mistakes made there in the second inning by the Dodgers. First on Pages, the misread. Second, Glasnow making the wrong decision. Third, Glasnow throwing the wild pitch, allowing Stott to score the second run of the inning. Phillies gifted essentially 2 runs there in the first inning. They go through the bottom of the second inning. Sorry, by the second inning. They go through the bottom of the second inning, down 1-2-3. Great inning there by Aaron Nola. Threw a lot of pitches, but got 3 outs, 1-2-3. Good to see that, especially with the double play ball. Then third inning, Schwarber strikes out on a slider at the top of the zone. Turner slides out, gets a slider that hangs out over the middle of the plate. He crushes it, but it's right to center field. Right to center field, so he's out. Harper goes up there striking out on a curveball. Bottom of the third inning is where all hell breaks loose, and this brings me to number 3, Aaron Nola. The one horrible inning, and it was that third inning. Hayward leads it off with a double. Pages gets a double, so you have back-to-back doubles. That, of course, means that a run scores. Pages brings in Hayward. It's now a 2-1 ball game. The thing about the Pages double, it was a knuckle curve that stayed up in the zone. It was the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Normally, Aaron Nola's go-to put-away pitch. Well, he went to it, but unfortunately, the second part didn't ring true. He did not put Pages away with this knuckle curve. He ended up dropping it into the left field for a single, for an RBI double. Now you have just exchanging runners there at second base. So now you still have a runner in scoring position. Ahmed goes up there. He gets the infield single. Stott makes a great diving play. Without Stott making that play, the run scores on that play, and you're already tied up. But Stott, again, a repeating theme for tonight. He hustles his butt off, gets behind the second base bag, lays out for it, and he's able to stop that ball from trickling into center field. However, Shohei Ohtani is the next man up. He hits a long fly ball to right field. It ends up being a sac fly RBI. It's a 2-2 ball game. Phillies then have a mound conference. It didn't do much. Next thing you know, Teoscar Hernandez steps up to the plate. He ends up getting a 2-run home run to left field. Knuckle curveball down and in. And Teoscar Hernandez just whips the barrel of the bat around and puts it down the left field line, wraps it around the pole, keeps it fair. Goes from a 2-0 game, all of a sudden, the blink of an eye, 4-run score for the Dodgers. It's a 4-2 Dodgers lead just like that. Freeman gets a single. Smith steps up, grounds to the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. When the smoke settled, not only 4 runs crossed the plate, but 26 pitches were used by Aaron Nola to get through that bottom of the third inning. For perspective, he used 13 in the first inning, 21 in the second, and then 26 in the third. After that, Nola, for the most part, settled in real nice. But that third inning was god-awful. I don't know what the issue. All I know is the result of the issue. I don't know if he was tipping his pitches. I don't know if his mechanics were off. One thing that I definitely noticed was everything was cutting in. And not cutting in with sharpness. Like, there was no great run on his 2-seamer like we normally see. There was no great drop on his knuckle curve. It was hanging up there a little bit more. Definitely looked like, not fatigue or anything like that, but definitely, I know they suggested that during the inning. I didn't get that, but there was a lot of pitches that you saw just drifting in on hitters that don't usually have, they usually have a crisp drop to them or a crisp break. A lot of things were flattening out just as they got to the plate from Aaron Nola today. And that's what the Dodgers seem to be really teeing off on in that third inning. A lot of hard hit baseballs, unfortunately. Phillies able to get 1 run back on the Alec Boehm RBI ground out. Another, talk about a game of inches there, a topper just over Glasnow, the pitcher, and they're able to get a run scored on that one after Kyle Schwarber led things off with a single. Trey Turner flew out to right field. Bryce Harper got the double, so he's standing on second base. You have second and third with 1 out in that situation. Boehm makes the second out of the inning on the RBI ground out to second, and then Harper's able to take third on that, and Marsh flies out to left field to end that threat, but it was a 1-run ball game after that. Phillies getting to the pen there in the 7th inning. Castellanos grounded out to short on 1 pitch. Stott grounded out to shortstop. And then Hayes got a single, his second hit of the ball game, and Stubbs ended up striking out on a fastball up in the zone in that 7th inning. 8th inning, Ohtani added a home run there, 5-3, and that would be the final score. So right now I'm looking at Phillies being lucky, one of the 3 things. Aaron Nola's third inning, number 2. What could be number 3? Or what could be the third and final thing? Number 1 on the list here. The approach sucked. And there is no shining, awful example of the Phillies' approach sucking tonight than it did in the 9th inning. Nick Castellanos, who just set the season record for longest at bat at 15 pitches in that Mariners series, the final game there yesterday, right? He goes up there against Hudson in the 9th inning. And please explain to me how the hell's bells this makes sense. Nick Castellanos goes up, gets a single in an 8-pitch at bat. He took the first pitch. He took the second pitch. It was 1-1 after 1-1 count after the first 2 pitches of that at bat in the 9th inning. Then Stott, Hayes, and Stubbs, all 3 of them guys, go down on 3 pitches combined. All of them have 1 pitch at bats in the 9th inning after Hudson had a struggle-filled first at bat against Nick Castellanos. These guys go out there, and the last 3 hitters of the game for the Phillies, hacking. And here's what really sucks about it. If you're going to hack at the first pitch, chances are you're really thinking, I'm going to get a first pitch fastball. Stott and Stubbs both got first pitch fastballs. Stott and Stubbs both missed. Just under it a little bit. Stott was very under it. Stubbs was very, very under it. And then Hayes, the middle of the guys there, he got a slider that he ended up popping up as well. All 3 pop-ups. Stott popped out to third, and then Hayes and Stubbs popped out to shortstop. That approach, another thing, Bryce Harper, when he was at the plate in the 8th inning, Bonda's pitching in the 8th inning for the Dodgers. Schwarber gets a leadoff walk. He was down 0-2 in the count. Then he works a walk from an 0-2 count. Trey Turner goes up there, immediately trying to help out Bonda pitching. He almost offered at the front. He checked his swing. He held up. But he almost swung at a pitch that was below his knees. Swung at everything while he was up there. Ended up flying out. And this is where he did get a pitch on the screws to hit. And he did. He smacked it in the center field on a line drive. Schwarber wasn't able to advance on it, unfortunately. Then Harper goes up there. In the middle of the at-bat for Harper, they have a mound conference. I guess Harper was thinking first pitch fastball, but what he ended up getting was a slider low and away that he swung over top of, and it was wild swings in that at-bat from Bryce Harper, especially on the fastball away that he actually struck out Harper on. But the approach just looked like a team that was pressing and pressing throughout this. They looked like a team that wasn't coming off a win. They looked like a team that was, all right, well, everyone can say that Marsh catch is going to save the season, but until we actually go out there and prove it to ourselves that we can go out there and rake and get clutch hits and actually string some wins together, we're really going to have to try hard to make sure we get it. That's what it looked like in the later stages of this game. Like they were pressing to get runs across the plate. And there's no better example of that again to the 9th inning. And the approach throughout the game. And I understand the Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, his strike zone was rather wide and high. And it certainly rubbed me the wrong way. And I wish Nola would have been able to take a little bit more advantage of that, because Glasnow certainly did with his 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. But the thing that was really bothering me was how fluid the strike zone was also. Like all night, a strike at the top of the zone, either just outside the top of the zone or on the line of the top of the zone. Every time that pitch came in, that was a strike. Top of the zone, every time that pitch came in, that was a strike. The only time that I really thought an egregious call was made was in that 8th inning. I mentioned Schwarber let it off with the walk after being down 0-2. Then Turner made the first out of the inning, lining out to center field. Harper struck out for the second out of the inning. Then Bohm got a single to right field. He had first and second with 2 outs at that moment. Brandon Marsh stepped up to the plate, who's been hitting left-handers rather well as of late. He works a 3-2 count. But on the 3-1 pitch, it was a fastball, top of the zone. I mean, top of the zone is generous. High. It was a high fastball that he held off on. It was without question ball 4. And for whatever reason, Hudson decided not to call it a ball. He called it a strike, and Brandon Marsh later struck out in that at-bat on a slider away. That was the worst call of the night. It's not why the Phillies lost. It's definitely worth highlighting, but it's not why they lost. In a fluid strike zone, that was the most egregious call of the night, and it went against the Phillies in that situation. So the Phillies went down after that in the 8th inning and couldn't muster any other offense as the game went on. I do want to give one honorable mention, though, and we'll get to that in just one second. I know I've already praised him a little bit. I'll praise him again in this one. But also we're going to get your take on this game as well. What you guys thought about this Phillies team dropping this game to the LA Dodgers after, of course, getting the sweep the last time they're actually able to put back-to-back wins together was against this Dodgers team. They failed at doing that in this game. We'll talk about when we come back. Also, give one person, if I give one person a gold star for tonight's game, I'll let you know who that is when we come back. You're Locked On Sports Philadelphia, the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Forget about gold stars. How about just some liquid IV? You know what I mean? Players after a game, a little dehydrated. Well, liquid IV goes together with baseball. It's America's pastime. Don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's popsicle firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 power hydration brand in America. Because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. No more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. In fact, you can get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use promo code MLB at checkout. That's promo code MLB at checkout. Whenever I feel like I'm dragging, like I'm not hydrating myself properly, I always make sure I reach for some Liquid IV, and it gets me right back on track. Don't forget, 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. That's liquidiv.com. I got to say it, and although I can rip him for the last plate appearance he had there, he looked first pitch fastball, he got a first pitch fastball, and he missed it. But throughout the game tonight, Bryson Stott was a huge reason the Phillies were even jumping out to that early lead, and a huge reason as to why they were able to keep this game close. When I watched Bryson Stott tonight, I just watched the guy lay out 3 different times at second base. One time, I can't say saving a run because the run eventually came around to score on the Shohei Ohtani sac fly RBI, but delayed a run, certainly. Robbed another base hit later in the ball game by being able to lay out again at left field, and then, at second base, and then also made a hustle throw to first base on an extremely close play. Seeing him come around. Oh, and then also, of course, the first run of the game was his RBI infield single that he just busted it from contact. Certain guys, Bryce Harper has been one of them, have not done that this season. If they feel like they have made an out, they've thrown their head back or delayed their reaction out of the box. Stott just went out there and booked it down the first base line. If I had to give one gold star out, it'd be to Bryson Stott today, mostly for what he was able to do defensively, but also what he was able to do with his hustle game today is a great, great display for all the young players out there, all the little leaguers. Follow Bryson Stott's lead because he was hustling all over the place tonight. Let's see what you guys have to say about this unfortunate Phillies loss. Let's get into the chat right here. A24 Baj, old long ball Nola, doing long ball Nola things. Yep, that's the way that worked. Graham Francis, what's going on from West Australia? Good win yesterday, but we need to string some series wins together and not one game winning streaks. Yeah, now they got to start all over. Christopher Michael, what's going on? Oh, God, that 3-1 pitch called a strike on Marsh. Made me knew the game was over. Yeah, we could have used some Angels in the outfield there for Bryce Harper in total tonight. Yeah, did have 3 strikeouts. Had 1 hit. It was the double. I really wish I knew what was going on in his head in that 8th inning. Let me bring that at bat up. Here it is. So I believe it was after the first pitch of the at bat. They have a mound conference. So Turner lines out to center field after Schwarber walked in that 8th inning. He laid off the first pitch, a changeup low, swung at the changeup, chased the low changeup, Turner did, for the first strike of the at-bat, and then got a sinker right in his wheelhouse and lined out to center field. Hey, it happens, but I would have liked a better approach earlier in the at-bat. So Harper then's up next, 1 out, runner on first, Schwarber's on first. He takes a ball, low and away, the slider, not locating the slider. Bonda is not locating the slider. They have the mound conference. Harper looked for sure like he was looking dead red for a fastball. Swung at the slider, low and away. Then got another slider in the exact same spot, low and away. Swung and missed. Took a ball on a slider very low and away. And then got a sinker outside portion of the plate, flailed away at it. That wasn't pretty. Grant Francis from West Australia. Thank you again from West Australia. Well, we should be worried that we can't beat the top teams. Might be, maybe not as good as we hoped for. I mean, they did sweep this team, but I know that was a much different baseball team back in the day. $824. This loss is on Harper and Turner. Hit the ball or give money to charity. I like that's pretty funny. All right, do that. I mean, I'd like them to do that. Yeah, either way, hit or no hit. Morgan, what's going on? Tell me why we don't pinch hit for Stubbs with the game on the line. I don't know. It's happened on more than one occasion now. I don't get it. Unless he's going up there to bunt, which obviously he's not. It's the only way he should be getting at bats in the ninth inning of a close game. Doesn't make any damn sense. Timothy B, what's going on? Stick a fork in this team. I don't know. To go back to it, I don't know why the hell Rob Thompson would do it. I don't get it. I'd love for somebody to make it make sense to me because it makes no sense. Especially because in this game, Stubbs was just lost. 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts in total. Fouled a ball off himself in the 5th inning. What was the second inning. Somebody actually tweeted me this. So Phillies are up 2-0 already. Stubbs comes up, makes a final out of the inning. The wild pitch during his at-bat is what scored the second run of the game. He goes up there and he gets a slider and he swings over top of it. The slider had been crushing just about it swings over top of it. The slider had been crushing everybody, so I can't be mad at him for that. But the fastball that he swung through in the for strike 2 in that at bat, I can be mad at him for that. It was up. A lot of those pitches had been strikes, but if you're Stubbs, you gotta let that ball buzz by, man, because you ain't catching up with that. And good Lord, it was a well-placed fastball that he thought he had a shot at. So I admire his confidence at least. Nola had one bad inning. He did. He had one bad inning. That's unfortunately. Matt Forrester, Forstater, what's going on? Please bring up Rafael Marchand. The Stubbs good vibes are now bad vibes. Look at what Marchand has done in the majors and the minors, shake things up. Why could Sosa not get an at bat? I do like Banks. I like Banks as well. I mean, he gave up a home run to Ohtani. I mean, a lot of people give up home runs to Ohtani. Babs, what's going on? Farzi love. I just don't know anymore. This team, grr. Oh, Farzi, love. I see what you're saying. Calling me love. I just don't know this team anymore. Babs, I know. It's rough. This team want to win anything when Rob Thompson won't win anything with Rob Thompson. Feels like that right now. Why does it have to take years for great players like Aiden Miller and Crawford to be ready for Major League Baseball? Why can't they learn on the job? I mean, that's a very philosophical question. We could do a whole show on that question when it comes to minor leaguers being ready for the majors and when's the moment. But just on that particular thing, learning on the job, sometimes these players have all the potential in the world, and if they don't correct mistakes that they're making now, they'll never correct them. Instead, they'll just go into survival mode and lock in at that level of play at the major league level. You don't want that to happen with some guys when they need that polishing. Aiden Miller certainly needs it. Justin Crawford, maybe not as much, but Miller certainly does. It's going to be a minute. M5 Rob Thompson has no clue. It's not a good sign. I would love to hear why JT isn't grabbing a bat in that situation. I'd love to hear why Edmundo Sosa isn't grabbing a bat in that situation. Swinging, what's going on? Holy smokes, if someone told me a month and a half ago the Phillies would be in the downward spiral they're in now, I'd say they're crazy. But here we are. Yes, here we are. The curse of Whit Merrifield. Yeah, by the way, the Braves were off tonight, so the Phillies lose a half game. Good times. Eric, let's just get this out of the way. Rafael Marchand is a better ball player than Garrett Stubbs. Rafael Marchand is going to get another chance in September. And he's going to get a chance in September to make the postseason roster. Garrett Stubbs might not be on the postseason roster. Rafael Marchand might be on the postseason roster. Most likely on the postseason roster. That means Stubbs will still be around to be Mr. Vibes guy. But if your one claim to fame is supposedly catching Aaron Nola, and Aaron Nola is, forget about one blow-up inning, okay? It does happen, fine. But what's more important is that he had another start where he did not dominate. He did not have a Zach Wheeler, I got you, boys, type of start. He had a 6-inning, 4-run performance. That is not even a quality start. So if it's not even quality, then it's bad. At least give me quality, baby. Stubbs is a great guy, but he's only good for mop-up pitching. Yeah, pretty much. This is the 2018 collapse all over again. Oh man, don't take me back to those days. Was that still that was still Gabe Kapler? Those were still the Gabe Kapler years. We're gonna get a curveball machine, and I'm gonna tell you guys how I feel through the art of interpretive dance. Interpretive dance. And scene. Now I'm going to go post thirst traps on the internet. I have my old cheerleader outfit that Stubbs could wear. There you go, Babs. I don't want to see that. Boop, boop, ba-doop. All right. Anyway, this team playing the personality of Thompson. Amir Pollock, what's going on? Death taxes and the Phillies taking bad approaches at the plate. Nothing new here. Darkwing Ducky. First off, phenomenal name. Second, love Stubbs, but he's more of a clubhouse mascot compared to Marchand. Certainly feels like that right now. Miles, why are you blaming the umps, man? It's like the MLB and umps don't want the Phillies to win. I don't think it's that at all. I do think that was some trash umpiring tonight. Both sides had trash umpiring. Let's get that out of the way. However, the worst call of the night was that 3-1 pitch to Brandon Marsh that was well above the zone, called for a strike. And Marsh didn't even lose his mind about it. And you know what? I went back and I looked at it because sometimes that little white box is a little off. And I watched it, and no, that was above the letters. It was bull. Anyway. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful. Let's look ahead at tomorrow's game when we break it down. We'll be back. Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back in a second. Locked On Sports Philadelphia. How about Prize Picks? Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million members. That's 5 million active members, by the way. Prize Picks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers with Prize Picks. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000. Get in on the excitement and win up to 100 times your cash with summer games going on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's just that easy with Prize Picks. Let's take a look ahead. Again, all these games are at 10-10. 10-10 start times against the LA Dodgers. Here's what the Phillies are playing for tomorrow night. After Aaron Nola's start, they got Christopher Sanchez on the hill for a lefty-lefty matchup. Clayton Kershaw goes against Christopher Sanchez. Kershaw, 0-1 on the season with a 5.57 ERA. He has only made 2 starts so far this season. In his last start, back on the 31st, so he's got a lot of rest between it. He went 3 2/3, allowing 7 runs, 3 of them earned. He did surrender a home run. He gave up 6 hits, and he issued 1 walk. That was an 8-1 loss to the San Diego Padres. As for Christopher Sanchez, he's also coming off not his best start. He's 7-7 on the season with a 3.36 ERA. He allowed 6 runs on 8 hits in 5 2/3 against the New York Yankees back on the 31st as well. He gave up a home run in that one, a walk, and he struck out 7. Christopher Sanchez looking to get back to that all-star form. Also worth noting, while the Phillies have had the best record in baseball for the vast majority of the season, they now no longer have the best record in baseball. That goes to the Orioles, Yankees, and Guardians. The Guardians have the best record in baseball. They only have 45 losses compared to the Yankees 46 and Orioles 46, but all 3 of those teams that I just mentioned have 67 wins. The Phillies have 66 wins. The Dodgers also have 66 wins. They have 1 more loss than the Phillies. And if you're keeping track at home, for the best record in baseball, the Phillies only have a half game lead on the LA Dodgers for the best record in the National League. 3.5 games up on the Milwaukee Brewers, 5.5 on the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks, of course, the team that they face after this Dodgers series. So if you're playing for anything tomorrow, it's to maintain at the very least the best record in the National League. That game, Kershaw versus Sanchez, gets underway at 10:10. Be back with you guys after that game for another postcast. This one will be a crossover postcast, as a matter of fact, with our friend Pete Fox of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, Locked On Sports Dodgers. Pete and I will be doing the joint postcast tomorrow night after the game. Thanks for and I have to say this. 2 things. Freddie Freeman. As a father, 2 young kids, God bless you. Couldn't be happier for you and your family. Your son is doing so much better. Glad you were able to get back into action tonight. So much respect for Freddie Freeman and the career he's had as a baseball player. Even more respect for him as a father. Secondly, that was world-class, Dodgers fans. If anyone's watching this who's a Dodgers fan that happened to stumble across the Philly reaction to this game, that was world-class, Dodgers fans. Giving Freddie Freeman that standing ovation before he took his first at-bat. That was a beautiful moment. Great job by you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel for your Locked On Phillies postcast. Be back with you guys tomorrow. See you then. Bye.